Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Beauty, the journey to success. We've been off the air just for a little while to sort of transition our new moves. And we're going to be sharing some of that with you. But first, before we do that, I would like to introduce again Tanya Taylor, the most beautiful Tanya Taylor from Jamaica, and the awesome, powerful, beautiful Rachel Roberts.
Hello.
All right, so this is going to be one of our light shows. We're just going to be recapping, talking about sort of what's been going on. We may be getting a little personal, not too personal, but I'm going to start off by my experience today. I had my first massage ever. And so I chose this place. I'm not even going to say where it was. I'm just going to be private about it. But so I went with no expectations. I've seen like all the shows where people are just sort of like in their zen and wusa, getting their massage. And so I'm just like, I'm ready. I'm like, you know what, Valerie, this is your day. You're just going to relax. You're going to chill. You're going to come out rejuvenated and glowing. But what actually happened, we spent most of the time laughing and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So anyway, so I'll share this part. So
Please do.
So it started off very wusa and just massage. I'm like, okay, this is good. And she's really sort of breaking in. I know I'm full of knots because I'm stressed out all the time. So she was breaking those. I was, oh, that's a little painful. I'm not really feeling very woosah right now. Hurts. And so they changed out the massage therapist, and I ended up getting this Asian dude, and he came in and he was just, the table was he was on me so hard. I think my leg fell off the table, and in my towel that was covering up her sister. I'm like, that thing was all. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm not feeling woosah no more. I'm feeling a little bit shamed. So, the way that he went on, he was like, look, you got knots. You got knots all over the place. I'm like, break them things up. I said, break them up. And he was saying, you want to get firm? I'm like, nah, get it. I said, I'm your hype man. So he was like breaking them knots up, and I'm like, whoo, yeah. I was encouraged. I was like, get it. I'm stressed. I want to leave here stressed. And then he got down to my feet because I wear heels when I work. Now I thought, I don't know what's going on down there. But I didn't know I was going to be doing any stretching. He was giving like an exercise and stretch. I was like, what? It was like, hold on a second.
Get myself together.
So he was
doing some extra stuff. Okay.
He was doing
That's
extra
not
stuff.
on the menu. And not on the menu.
So, it was a lot. When I say I just tipped the iceberg, it was a lot more eventful than that. I'm not going any further. So as soon as I got done, I called my girls. I was like, look, y'all tell me about y'all.
Are you
experiences. I'll tell you about mine. Mine was a little aggressive. And he said, come by yourself next time. I'm like,
I be wondering what be going through some of these men's mind when, because I have a male masseuse that I go to a lot. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what goes through their minds
I know what's going through mine
when they're doing their job.
I'm like, am I supposed to be having this much fun? This room is a little loud. so it was good. It was fun. And so I'll start the show with something funny. So it was very eventful. So if you thought massages were very just calm and, you hear the tinkling of water and that wasn't mine. My experience was really loud. I think he was stretching. He was like, oh, the knee pop. I was like, yeah, that one did too. I wasn't prepared for stretching. I did some hardcore stretching. So if you have a funny experience with a massage, give us a call at 678-638-6626. So I'm going to pass it on to Tanya. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on in your life, honey. What's been going on in a month's time?
Yeah.
A lot?
Been hustling.
Hustling.
As usual, trying to get the bag. As usual.
I love bags.
As usual.
Yes.
But still, I can say honestly, I'm more truly living my life. now. Yes, I'm truly living my life at leisure and luxury.
Yes, yes.
Explain luxury.
Yes.
Honey, luxury has to do with my spirit, my spirit.
I like that.
And peace, being at peace. That's my luxury. Being at peace, humble, tranquility, just calm, not making anything bother me or people bother me.
Wonderful, because our January and February was very, 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 very crazy.
Yes, it was crazy. But this month was so much better.
Up.
Yes, it's a little bit more at ease.
Is it part of the signs? Okay, explain that.
Because usually this is the month astrologically where it awakens a lot of people about relationships.
Okay.
About all types of relationships with family members or your children or your husband or your significant other, spouse or common law. It just really puts a light on your relationships this month.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It can do both. It's making you reflect more on your relationships.
I'm doing both.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that happens where you can have to do both. You're reflecting on what's important to you, what you want out of a relationship. It could be a relationship with your mother. What do you want from this point on how to deal with your mother or, your sibling or your husband or, or friends, even friend relationships. Right. But it does put a highlight astrologically
so it's
on
really
it.
An opportunity to just kind of set your intentions to the universe.
Right.
In terms of what you want.
And clean house, too.
I love that.
Clean house, too.
How do you clean house? Tell people how they could potentially
get the hell on out of my life.
You about taking out the garbage?
Take it out the garbage. Oh no. Okay. I had enough of your toxic vibe. Be gone. I am not doing this.
So this is that time. This clean the palette.
It's a whoosah moment, and also value the people that are close that you love and cherish so much.
I love y'all.
Yes. And just being excited about being around the right people. Yes. Yeah. I never want to leave being around the right people and feel drained.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh no, I ain't gonna return to that.
Yeah.
So I just want to be around the right people.
Right.
Give me the right vibe.
Yes.
Have you been doing that?
Oh yes, I have.
Yes.
Oh, trust me. And if I'm not around people, I'm at home doing my own business. I'm minding my own business.
I like that. That's my favorite.
Exactly. I'm doing my coin, getting my coins.
Getting your coins.
Okay, getting my coins. Trying to figure out all sorts of business adventures too.
Yes.
Got some calls. I got one call from one lady that was really, really a good call too. She was on the Married to Medicine. She's not there on this season, but she was on Married to Medicine and Atlanta. And she reached out to me about an opportunity. Wow. And I'm really thinking long and hard about it. But I said, right now, I made a commitment to my beyond the beauty.
Yes.
So I was like, but I will take it up down the road because it is a good opportunity. So I'm just looking at opportunities that come my way and, and just being mindful about how grateful I am to the universe and God that I am really living my best life right now, to be honest. And that's to have freedom of thought, freedom of my physical self, freedom on my mental. And it starts with you because only you can do that.
That's the only thing.
Ashe.
Rachel.
That's it.
What's been going on with you?
Woo! What has not been going on? That's the question.
Yeah, there's been some ups and downs. I mean, there's been some good things. There's been some challenges.
There's been a lot of
challenges. You
want
to sum that up for us?
Oh, yes. Love to. So, January, February, I feel like a lot of things that I had manifested the previous year, like around, 2020, set my intentions. It just came, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, but it can also be a challenging thing if you have not prepared for it. They always say, you always say, prepare before that your gift actually gets here. Wow. You have to prepare.
Was there times where the situation came and you wasn't aware that you should have been prepared, or were you prepared as much as you could have been prepared?
I felt like I was prepared as much as I felt that I could have been prepared at that time.
Okay.
It's never ending. I feel like it's never ending. It's like growth. Yeah. It's always happening. It's always, you're always changing. You're always growing. So, you're prepared as much as you have with the information that you have at hand. Right. But then when you start to gain more information, you start to gain more knowledge, more wisdom, you know, that preparation starts to change. It starts to look different. You know what I mean? So, you know, I got my first contract, you know, January, February. That was a blessing. And it was also extremely challenging for me, extremely challenging, you know. But again, like, I love what Tanya just said. It, you know, always maintaining that attitude of gratitude. Right.
Yes.
You know, gotta maintain that attitude of gratitude, because it was some times, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, look, you know, I don't know about this. I don't know about it. But but you know, it's all about, you know, just powering through it. It's all about pushing through it. And more recently, you know, so it's just a lot of great business things that have been going on in my life, you know, in terms of the investments, in terms of my family, you know, individuals that I'm teaching in terms of educating, you know, finance and all this, all that. But more recently, you know, I have a bonus son.
Does it say live?
You know, my hubby.
Yes.
It says live on it.
And most recently, you know, we've gotten a chance to really and truly bond with him. You know, got him. His name is Isaiah. We actually got a company, a nonprofit in his name. You know, and it's really and truly been beautiful. So I've backed up from business, because usually, you know, I'm like Tanya, I'm go. I'm meeting, I'm talking, I'm busy, like you know, I'm always on the go. But it really and truly made me slow down and think about balance. That was really and truly my test. You know, I really feel like throughout this whole, you know, we're closing in on the first quarter. You know, and just having Isaiah and bonding with him, you know, first of all, it's already it's kind of challenging when you like, for example, I don't have any children that I birthed. Of course, I say Isaiah is my bonus son, but it's always I want to say it's a blessing, and it's also challenging when you want to get that bond. You know, you have to bond with the child has to bond with you, and that takes time. You know, that takes, so it you know, it just reminded me, especially this week, since we've had him, the life is really and truly about balance. And I understand now that I need more of that. Right. I need to do more of that balance and understand, hey, it's okay. I don't have to be on go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have to make time, you know, for things that are really and truly important. Right. You know.
So your lesson over the past month since we've been off the air is balance.
Yes.
And Tanya's is pretty much the same thing, but, you know, just sort of peace. You know, I'm not really going to go into sort of what's going on with me, but just generally, you know, my lesson, you know, was, you know, self-care. Oh my goodness.
I love that.
I love that. You know, I have a huge tendency of taking on more responsibility than I should, taking care of more people than I should. Right. I have 4 children, then I have 4 more, you know, children that aren't my children, but I've always just always been Mother Goose, and I love to mother. I'm a nurturer by heart, and I don't want to stop doing that, but I also have to know, it's like, baby girl, it's okay. You about to better end up back up in the hospital. You better calm down. Yes. So that's sort of been you know, my lesson, but you know, but what's sort of going on with, you know, sort of beyond the beauty, what we're trying to do, what we're actually going to start doing, you know, we're going to have the actual show starting really soon in a beautiful, beautiful production studio. So we're really sort of happy about that.
Very excited about that.
Yeah. You know, one thing that we want to really focus on is we want to bring more spiritual value. You know, we definitely see ourselves as spiritual coaches, you know, mainly because, you know, we focus on things, you know, not what's the word I'm looking for? Surface things, you know, we're not really interested, you know, we're not going to be talking about, you know, celebrities or anything like that. We're really, you know, we really see value in people, and we want to, exactly. And the biggest thing is finding value in your story. Everybody has a story. I don't care where you are in life. If you're very successful, I want to talk to people that's reached success, because a lot of things, you know, people had to pay for, and I want to understand that. I love traveling down people's timeline, you know, as far as, you know, how did you get here? I interviewed an attorney.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, Jackie Patterson. Bentley. Yes. So yeah, he said it was so funny. So he's 61 or 60 something, and he wants to date women around 21 to 25 to 40. Yeah, 21 to 35. So I was like, okay. And he said, but the mistake that they made was they think I'm the sugar daddy. He said, I'm more of the sugar sprinkler. I was like, that's a good one. He was like, I'm gonna take good care of you, but I'm not supporting you. So right. I feel that. But anyway, he was so polished, and his life was so so controlled. He had an incredible amount of discipline, but how he offset just sort of that very, very strict analytical type of thinking and living. He liked to party.
What was your biggest takeaway from that interview, and how did it make you feel? What was something that just like, wow, like an aha moment?
Discipline. His discipline, because it was like it's so innate, and I kept trying to dig down his timeline further and further, even down to his childhood when he was, living in the projects. I was like, well, you had no influencers one way or the other. He was like, no, I stayed to myself. I stayed, so that it's cocoon, and he just really developed himself in his thinking. He was just always different. But, and that discipline went into his, his adulthood. But the other thing take away, see, life is like a balance. You got your balance of positive and negatives. And I'm just trying to figure out, where is yours? I mean, it seems like you're so perfect. But, his takeaway was like, I'll party. I get down.
Yeah, fun.
He liked to hang out with young people because he feels like he has a young spirit. So I did love his balance, and he was very transparent.
And there is a such thing as having a young spirit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the one thing that I like about all three of us, transparency is number one, but no one here is trying to sort of come off as perfect. Absolutely. Or polished. I think the thing that's remarkable about all three of us that we're okay with talking about the most painful parts.
Yeah.
People don't want to do that. And they definitely don't want to do it on a mic.
Oh no. Oh no.
They don't want to do it for everybody. I have zero problems with it because I like, I want people to see, past any social media pictures. Like, no, there's a tremendous amount of pain behind that. There's a tremendous amount of pain in your story. We talked a little bit about it. See, you was tripping. I kept asking you your story. When I said you gave one part of it.
Yeah, it's so funny. But I wish I only had if I had any, I wish it was only one trauma or two. But it's several of them. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm 50. So it's like I went through a time, going back and looking through a timeline of different things that traumatized me. I really wish it was just one because I know it's a part of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But that's why sometimes when we're having conversation, I remember something because you remember with trauma, we have a tendency to hide that in one part of our brain and suppress it. Yeah. Sometimes to a point where we don't even remember or think about it until something later triggers it. Yeah. And it could be years before it's been triggered. Right. It lays dormant. So sometimes when you're talking about, I remember something, it comes up and it might bring a tear to my eye or,
It brought a tear to my eye. I was like, man, I'm hurt listening to it.
Yeah. So, it's, trauma with my parents, my child, and myself. Like that's a lot of burden to be carrying. But I am so loving myself right now and how far I've come and what I have let go and learned to forgive and not forget, but forgive and mend and move on. Yeah. Because I wouldn't be where I am mentally, emotionally, and spiritually if I haven't done that work.
And I feel like through your pain, you also get the opportunity to find out what your purpose is.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it's for. That's what the pain is for.
That's what.
Listen, everybody. That's what pain is for. That's what disappointments are for. That's what catastrophes are for. That's what loss is for.
That's right.
There's no other way to find your purpose unless you're unafraid to go in and find it. I put this post on Facebook. Do not resent the vehicle of which your lesson came. Sometimes your lesson comes with people. Loss. Loss, catastrophe,
failures.
Oh man, I think I think for the first time I've experienced failure. One thing I always wanted to do. I feel like I can do anything, but when that failure hit me, I was like,
"That's a good That's a good way to think, man. When you can say you can do anything, that's a serious belief.
That's a serious belief until you met with failure.
That's okay. It's a part of life.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
a step.
And the quickest way to success is through failure. Think about it.
The only way.
The only way. You don't. The lessons are through the failure. That's how you're gonna grow.
Right.
If you're always at a success,
yeah.
then there's no. You hit your cap.
Yeah.
There's no.
You can't go any further.
Exactly.
For growth.
I
keep telling people you're continuously growing. You're continuously evolving. There is nothing that you cannot learn. And a lot of people feel they have an attitude where they think they know everything. No. And if you have that mindset, you will never grow.
Yeah,
that's it.
You're always learning something.
Right. And one thing, with the show, for everyone that's listening, this is what this is about. You're not going to find many places, or even shows on TV where they're specifically talking about how to grow in that pain. These ladies have tremendous experience in that, not just experience, but can help you walk through that and help you find where those jewels are, those lessons are. A lot of people, even in their 30s, 40s, they're still trying to find their purpose. I'm like, I can help you find it if you want to, but it's opening up some very, very painful doors. You're going to have to talk about it. What you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what's the meaning of Beyond the Beauty is helping, coaching, nurturing, and guiding people through their pain. I mean, that's what we're about, and that's what our show is about. The podcast is about. And that's why we want to make sure that when you do watch our show, you leave it learning something.
Right. Absolutely.
Learning something new and how to input it in your own lives.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was talking with this one lady that came to the restaurant that watched the show, and she loved how transparent we were. And she was like, I'm ready to talk about my story. And I was like, girl, if you want to know what your purpose is, I said,
that's exactly what I'm talking about, what we stand for.
A lot of them, even they'll hit the inbox about, then they'll start telling me their story, and they're just now getting comfortable. But we also know people our age that not ready to talk.
Oh, they're not. They're still on a tight lip. And I'm like, well, and even in what I do, which, because I spiritually advise people, and there's a lot of people who they want me to answer certain things for them in their readings, but they don't want to be transparent.
Wow.
And I keep telling them the two people you need to be transparent with is your doctor and your damn psychic. Like, I'm gonna see it though, but you can't. There's certain questions that you're asking me, and if I'm telling you that is something deep rooted, or why you're behaving this way, or why this person is behaving, it has a lot to do with how you are behaving.
Yeah.
Where's that behavior coming from?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to dwell within.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand. That's why a lot of them are so complex today, because nobody wants to be truthful.
Yeah. One thing that I did learn. Excuse me. One thing that I did learn was about, people that become very defensive when, just with their, some interaction is like, oh, there's a wall there. Oh, you want to get past that wall, I can go in and I can see what sort of, have that wall up, just talking with some family members. The second you get just 2 or 3 steps into a conversation that they're uncomfortable with,
they want to shut it down.
Right. All right. So this is what defensive is. It is an old injury that you're guarding. Get away. Don't touch that. Don't come near that.
Right.
Okay, well, I can show you sort of how to start stretching out that arm and rehabilitating it. That way, when when someone approaches you with that conversation, you're not so offended and you not so defensive. My daughter had asked me the question. Here's a good example. You can tell me what you think. So there's a group of girls, and when someone says something that's socially insensitive, they want to stop them and correct them. Don't say that. Say this instead, because that's offensive. They say retarded. Use the word retarded. Don't say the word retarded. I think they were joking. You're like, girl, you're so retarded. Don't say retarded. That's insensitive to people with disability. And so my daughter was like, well, did it come off? Did the girl, was she wrong with coming off and, and stopping it? I was like, well, it's a wall. Everything is a teachable moment.
Oh, the thing about it, if she's so sensitive about it, that means there's a possibility she was called retarded one time.
Yeah, I think she has a sibling that's retarded.
Or a sibling, or there we go.
Yeah.
Or
but does she have a right to correct people so harshly when they say that?
So it's something she's deeply related to.
Yeah, but does she have a right to do that? Is that offensive?
depends on how you come off to the person. Or she could have chose a different way to say it and say, hey, I can relate to this retardation, and when you say it kind of really nudges at me or a thorn in my side. Right. Can you just be a little bit more sensitive when you do talk about the word retard? Right. I mean, if she said that to her, then she would probably rethink what she said.
What if the two people that were sort of talking, what about the context? The way that they were saying, you're like, girl, stop, you're so retarded.
I mean, we do it. I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. Right. I have done that. It's just a figure of speech when I do it. But then I said, if someone said that to me, I would say, hey, I didn't mean it that way. It was just a figure of speech. Right. And then I'll be mindful if that person's around not to say it because it's offensive to them. Right. But I'm still probably gonna use it. Yeah. Because it's a part of my speech.
I think it's more, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah. It's all in your tonality. It's all in how, and then you do have to be kind of mindful with how, because there things can be taken in so many different contexts. So many different ways. Especially when we're talking about like text messaging or emailing, anything like that. It's one dimensional. Mm-hmm. So you have to. I do feel like you kind of have to keep that mindful, but at the same time, I could say, let's go to the store, and 3 people are here, heard the same thing, but may take it a different way. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's always, be mindful with how you're, how you're coming off. Right.
So let's talk about some of our future topics. And this is what I really want to try to set the stage for how we're moving forward so people can sort of know what to expect from us. So I'm going to start with you, Rachel. There are 2 topics that are specifically important to you. And you want to tell about each one and sort of why it's important to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we're going to be sort of talking about on our future shows.
Absolutely. So those of you all that don't know, you all know me as you may or may not know me as the currency coach. And what I do is I specialize in educating, teaching the importance of investing, of really and truly investing back in yourself. Because any type of investment, whether it's financial, emotional, mental, spiritual, is an investment in yourself. Right. So, I really teach on the, I call them like the 4 or 5 pillars: emotional, spiritual, economical, mentally, all of that, because they're all interconnected. And something in terms of investing is not, it's really and truly not a topic that you find or that you'll see being taught in schools, in the school system. Right. The reason why, because of course, we're looking to, raise, so to speak, raise a society of employees, not so much entrepreneurs, not so much investors.
Definitely not entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And so unless you've been in a background where wealth is a common word in your family or in your background, you're pretty much growing up in almost like a poverty-minded generation. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Because nothing is hidden. It all comes out generational. You know what I mean? So, I teach on the importance of understanding your worth, in terms of, your self-worth, your emotional health, your mental health, and then of course, economic, because it's hard to focus. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to dream when you're worried about, how am I going to get how am I going to get the light bill paid and the rent and do this over here, or the kids got to eat and this and that. So, let's get that out of the way. One of the tools that I use, and I specifically teach on, is the foreign exchange market, cryptocurrency. There's a lot going on around it. There's a lot of people, that are still not really familiar and understanding with what the actual exchange market is, what crypto is, but it's not anything new. It's been around since really and truly before the stock market. Mm-hmm. But it's really about really teaching our kids, our future kids, something that's not been taught to us. Growing up, I was not taught. I was told you either go to school or you go in the military. That's it. You got two choices. If you don't,
not following your dreams, or
exactly, not following, not not.
That's true. I've heard there's every parent that said that.
It's if you don't do that, then you just get your high school diploma, and you probably gonna be a bum. You're not really gonna be doing anything with your life, so to speak. So
sort of like we're supposed to know.
Exactly. Exactly. Almost like we're supposed to, it comes with a set of instructions or something. But it really and truly, again, unless you're brought up in that background, we don't know. You don't know what you don't know. No. Right.
Right.
So that's why I'm so passionate about it, because again, I see a huge disparity. All socioeconomic backgrounds, all ethnic backgrounds, but especially within our communities.
Okay.
Definitely within our communities.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, that's been going on for years. That's straight from after slavery. So it was conditioned, and so it came generation down to generation being taught. Right. And the thing about it now we're a little bit more aware. And this is a part of where we need to do something about it within our community, because that's not what we're being taught. We're always taught to just get a job.
Right.
Come out of high school, go into college, and even through college, we're still taught to go get a job, not entrepreneurship, which I think is all the way wrong.
So you may have to sort of dig into people's belief systems in order really to get.
That's a belief system. Absolutely.
Yeah, because we're taught very toxic behaviors by our parents, either one giving us everything, or maybe opportunities where we didn't have anything, and it's built anger. People start to hoard and get too much. So you're gonna have to really travel to those base beliefs, in order to change the outcome.
Understanding that person's belief system, and then almost like reprogramming it.
Right. Can you teach someone, as a currency coach, you have someone that wants to learn, can you even begin teaching them without understanding where their belief systems are?
In order to really and truly tap into all of that, because again, all of that it's really and truly all interconnected. Emotionally affects the mental, affects the spiritual. It surely affects your finances. So absolutely, it's before I even go into, I'll say like this, before I even go into teaching crypto or teaching how to trade, I first talk about mindset. I have to know where your mindset is. I have to, and it's not about hurrying up and bringing you to the level that I am. I have to meet you where you are. I have to first meet you where you are, because again, everybody comes from different backgrounds. So I can't assume that you may have were brought up with the same principles as Joe down the street or Jane up down the road.
Right.
I have to first understand what is your mindset, what's your belief system, and where did you get that from? And more often than not, we develop either consciously or subconsciously the same belief system as what we were brought up in.
Right. And so if you look at all these pop up, these people that teach wealth, everything in there, the stadium is full of people. I mean, if it was effective, then every single person in there would be millionaires. Okay, but why aren't they millionaires? It's because they're throwing seed on top of really bad ground.
That is so important, and that's the thing about people don't understand, or else everybody would be a millionaire. Yeah, because they're all going to the same seminar, right?
Right. Not just even the wealth seminars or to the peace.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset. They're
being rich, maintaining your wealth. It's a mindset.
But it's not even just so much of the mindset. It's like, are you dumping the mindset on top of a bad belief? I mean, it's still,
that's true.
Yeah,
unless you have to understand the belief system.
Where were your first beliefs? And then, because in order to change outcomes, you have to change the beliefs. There's no other way. You can't even get anything in the ground unless you have to. You can't even give them a different belief. You have to help them show them where their belief is, so that they can examine it, look at it, like, I don't want that one anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Telling them, it was like, no, you believe that because your parents did this. That's not enough. That's somebody else coming and tilling the ground.
Right.
Weeds and rocks and bugs and get back in. It's talking them through it, helping them evaluate, see what it is. You know what? That is true.
So it's really and truly all about, like you said, is asking questions.
Asking
the questions.
Guiding them.
Yeah. And also, and the asking the question is also, getting to know their background and how, what was taught to them.
Exactly.
Taught to them, or what was, were their parents, were their parents successful?
The main, one of the main, not to cut you off, one of the main questions I ask is, what was your parents' relationship with money?
That's it.
Yeah, which is what I'm trying to hit at.
And start there, and then
how were they successful in their in life?
Yeah, and then you can really start to, and it's not about, again, like you said, telling them, okay, you need to do this, and that. No. Ask the questions that's going to peel back the layers. It's like it's like an onion. You have to peel back the layers in order to get to the bulb. You know what I mean? You have to peel back those layers, and then you start asking those questions and have them discover on their own.
You can't tell them.
You can't tell them.
You cannot give a man, another idea. You can help him change his mind. That's it.
Exactly.
Just by sort of, well, what do you feel about that? Well, how did that make you feel? And would you have done something different?
Exactly. And some individuals, I'll be, fully transparent. Some individuals are ready and willing. Some are not quite ready yet.
Yeah, they're not quite ready, right?
They're not quite ready. Yeah. And you can't force that.
Right. Because they're trying to make that money. They're trying to get to the bag.
They're trying to make that money. No, all I need you to do is just
cut
tell
corners
me how to
and go for,
they want it
fast. They want it fast because this is a microwavable society.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
You want it fast. You want it now.
Yeah,
it is a fast food society.
I don't have Burger King across my forehead. Yeah. You can't have it your way.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that long work. They want the short work.
They want the short,
and that's why they'll pack out the stadiums for wealth, or even go to certain churches that preach wealth. I'm like, I need to get this quick. I need to get this amount. Yeah, swipe. Take that money.
What pill or potion or lotion or button do I need to push?
Right. What do I need to say 100 times a day?
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't want to do the work. Most millionaires, they have to put in work. There's a lot of things they have to sacrifice and give up. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
That's it. Yeah. And a lot of people don't even want to do, they're not ready to do that.
Right.
Because
it's long.
It's long.
It's long.
They don't want to do that. It's sacrifice. Yeah. It's a price that had to be made, paid. It's nothing in this life. And that's what I say, nothing in this life, it comes, freedom isn't even free. No. If you really want to know,
nothing is free.
Especially that.
Freedom is the main thing because you got to go through things, you got to sacrifice, you got to pay for that. Somebody paid for that freedom. Right. Somebody paid for our freedom to be able to sit right here.
Really,
that's true. Yeah, that paved the way for us.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm always, always employing mindset first. Mindset, because I have to see who you are. Yeah. And what type of belief system you grew up in. Yeah. And now we can start. Yeah. And then I can decide, based on our conversations, are you ready for this journey? Yeah. Because this is a journey. Yeah. And you have to enjoy the journey. Yeah. You got to enjoy the process. Yeah, if you're someone that you trying to get the shortcut, you don't want to go around 285, you trying to just get the straight shot there. I wish I was there yesterday. It's not going to work. I tell them up front, this may not be for you. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what it is.
Right. It's a powerful thing. I remember when I used to homeschool and I would tutor other people's kids. I had the technique down to break open a kid's mind. I would crack that thing open. And the way I did is I would just sort of get up close up in their ear. And I was like, you have two choices. One thing I'm going to help you do, if you do exactly what I tell you to, step by step, you're going to be two things, either brilliant or super smart. Do you want that? It was like, yes, Mom, it's going to be hard. I'm telling you, you're not going to like it. But I promise you, you're going to cry every step of the way. But if you do exactly what I say, and they did exactly what I said, and sometimes you got to get into their ear just like that. I'm like, oh, do you want wealth, honey? This is going to hurt. I can show you how to do it, and it'll be long.
Sure, because I refuse to be poor.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, but it's going to hurt.
Not in my vocabulary.
I'm going to hurt your feelings. No. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to put all that to the side. But I guarantee you, if you do exactly what I say, you're going to have long wealth.
That's right.
And people don't want this. People generally want that. They don't want the hype. You take these 10 steps, you're going to be straight. You're going to make this.
Come on.
And I don't want to, and it's so funny because I'm not looking to be temporary rich.
Yes.
No.
It's the difference.
I'm not looking at temporary rich. No.
Because it's a difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a huge
difference.
Rich. I know people that say, I'm going to use rich because rich, it can be between making 100,000 a year for some people to maybe close to $1 million.
I ain't looking for that temporary
the difference
rich.
between, the rich people I know, stingy as hell.
They are.
They wouldn't lift a finger, lift a finger to lift somebody else's burden. They would see another man drown and be like,
oh well.
A wealthy person, you see sort of. You see people that have wealth, they'll pay for someone's funeral, like Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
They understand wealth.
Or they see someone suffering and they say, okay, I'm going to go out of my way because I knew where I came from to help that person. That's right.
Those individuals
mindset.
don't even have the look or the perception of wealth.
No.
And then as the streets say,
what they say in the street,
as the streets say,
what the streets talking about?
I don't want to be hood rich. Okay. I want to be tycoon corporate rich.
Oh.
Who?
Okay.
Look, are you watching the show? Call back.
Go.
Miguel, call back.
Call us.
Was he calling the right number? It's on the screen.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna tell him to call back. Oh, that's who he's with.
He said Miguel Nunez is trying to get on.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Call
me.
What's
678.
what are they trying to call?
Call Kenya. Call me. Call my phone, and I'm gonna put you on.
Or call 678-638
Yeah.
6626.
Yeah, whichever way. Call in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is it on?
as I say what they say in the streets. I do not want to be hood rich.
No.
I'm trying to look tycoon
and again,
corporate
people
rich. Okay.
People in the online
not hood
world,
rich.
listen to what I'm telling you. It's a bad look. If you're rich, I already know sort of the minds you look the part. I mean, you most of the time you're already Gucci down. I mean, the whole look, and we live in the same community.
Thank you.
That's rich.
That's
and,
rich.
and the mindset
that's
is
rich.
You will watch a man fall and not even lift a finger.
Not only that,
one.
I noticed too with rich people, they don't want to, when you asking them your advice on how they did certain things and stuff, they don't want to help you or give you or get you
they
on.
want to tell you why you're not winning.
Why you're not winning. They don't want to give you and say, hey, you know what? Now that I heard what you're trying to do, I know so and so and so that can help you get on your feet and get in the right direction.
Right.
They don't do that. They don't want to. But you meet somebody who is wealthy, they'll be like glad to be your mentor.
They'll say,
glad to be your mentor and say, hey, I did it this way. Let me come and teach you.
I'll teach you.
Hey, be an internship in my business and I'll help you.
Wealthy mindset.
That's wealthy mindset. We ain't talking hood
we're talking
rich.
about value. At the end of the day, what you were just saying, that's value. I'm giving out my free value.
Yeah.
And it should be free. Why you want to charge? Why are you charging? This is what I see on social media. Why are you charging people to get on to a certain situation, certain thing to make money?
Yes.
Why are you charging for that?
Why you
should get that information free.
Why you want to be on the somebody invites you to be on their podcast? Yeah, it's going to be this much. Why? Just go ahead and disappear.
Information should be free.
Here. Right.
It should be free.
Man, if you don't have the time, say I'm sorry, I really would, but I don't have the time. But to say, yeah, I got the time, but you're going to pay me. No return. Universally, no return.
I can tell you,
you're not even
in what's the laws of the spiritual laws?
Yeah,
you will not succeed.
Come on, honey.
If you have that attitude.
Right.
No.
Let's switch it up, mamas. Let's switch it up. Okay, Tanya, you got some things that are important to you that we're going to be talking about.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
So these are two topics that are dear to me that we're going to have a podcast over and we're going to actually have a show on. And the first one was mental illness, because I know so many people who are experiencing mental illness right now, or they have siblings or someone in the family that is experiencing mental illness.
Okay.
And it seems to be an epidemic at this time, because even more so during the COVID last year, it actually put a light on mental illness, because us being confined to our home, a lot of us, it amplified the sickness, the illness. And so the suicides were up really, and it's amongst young teens straight up into people in their 40s, 50s. And when they did their survey on it, it happened to be, Black and brown people. So there's a huge mental illness issue that's going on that that people don't want to talk about, or even is ashamed to even get help. And that's why I say sometimes when someone reaches out to you and calls you and say, hey, I'm not feeling good today, my spirit is down, please take time out to listen to them. Take time out to give them some love and attention, because sometimes that might be their final day and they decide to commit suicide the next day. I had an aunt who was manic depressive on my father's side, and she committed suicide. She was depressed. She had depression problems. So, I can relate. And I have had people call me and ask me to make it's a topic on our show, and I said absolutely, because I've seen it up and down my timeline as well on my Facebook about mental illness, people suffering, people trying to how to deal with husbands that have mental illness, and some men are wondering how you deal with women with mental illness that they love so much, their children, siblings, brothers, sisters. How do you deal with that? And it's so hard, especially with somebody who's an adult that has mental illness. So, I've reached out to the Georgia Department of Behavioral, I forgot what the word is, but
behavioral health.
Behavioral health in Buckhead. And I spoke with the lady briefly, and I'm gonna have a really sit down conversation with her next week to see how Beyond the Beauty can be a part of spreading the word of the seriousness of mental illness, and how you can actually, there's going to be crisis numbers that we have. They have the 24-hour ones. They have ones for each county, and what you can do in the midst of a crisis, a mental breakdown, or any form of issues that you have. They have a hotline for that, and where you can get immediate help, because it's really a serious crisis within our community right now. And the suicide rate is up just because people not taking time out to listen or even lend a hand out to these people. So this is what's happening.
How do you think culturally we're taught how to deal with depression?
We're taught to suck it up and don't even talk about it. That's what we're taught about, and it's sad because, and especially with the men, and
especially with
and
the
when
men.
the lady was discussing to me on the phone,
Especially with men.
she was discussing to me on the phone, which I already kind of knew, but just to actually hear somebody who's actually in the department, and this is a public run by the government. She said the highest rate is with Black men.
Of course.
I absolutely, I believe
That's the highest rate is within Black men.
Course,
and she said it's so sad, but it's the reality of it. And nobody's really nobody's not really listening. And okay, so how do we go about, which is what I asked her, how do we go about making an awareness? Because we're going to make an awareness, but how can we treat it? Like what can we do to get out in the community to make these Black men come forward to admit that they're having issues mentally? You understand? Because we were told, as even Black men and young sons coming up with their Black mothers, you better suck it up. Fathers telling them you better not cry, or I don't want to hear that, or so just get with it, so they were taught that. So they're seeking the worst of it. So I just I'm going to sit down and talk to her about that and see what is it that we can do to get the Black men to come in and get some help, because we can make awareness all day long.
Right.
But what is it that we're doing about it to get men to get to a point to say, hey, I have depression, I have mental illness. There's things going on with me I cannot understand.
Not feel ashamed.
And not feel ashamed or being judged.
Exactly.
About it. That is the problem.
That's the problem.
Mr. Ryan, do you have something to say about this?
No, you're right. The problem is a lot of men don't feel like the person within them they can talk to. So and also it's 99% a pride thing. From a man's perspective, we got that image that even with the tattoos, even with the fighting, even with the whatever it may be, we got that image that we got to try to, is it going to make me soft now because I'm telling you I'm depressed? Are you going to look at me, are you going to not take advantage of me as a man if you my spouse or you my cousin or you my sister? Are we going to be vulnerable now because we told you we had a heart? So a lot of times, men hold stuff inside because that's the image that you guys expect from us to have. We're supposed to be the man of the house. We're supposed to be the provider. We're supposed to be the goat of the crib. So a lot of times with men, if we feel like we got to come to you for sympathy, now you're going to call your homegirls, I'm married to a P, I'm dating a H. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now what you going to think of me as a man because I came to you for the condolence of, for sympathy. So a lot of men just hold it inside. Then again, you got homeboys of yours that you try to reach out to, and you only can call them when, you only can reach them when they want something from you, because the brotherhood ain't the same no more.
I agree with that.
I think that's important. The important part is your ability to reach out to other men.
Yeah, brotherhood ain't the same no more.
No, it's not the same because I'm telling you.
Either they want something.
Nowadays,
it ain't like me personally. My people know me. They know I'm gonna text you in the morning. Good morning. Have a good day. What's up, dog? I love you. And the ones that don't know, like, you good, Disco? Nah, it's just me saying I love you, bro. Have a good day. That's it.
Because he's right. In the last, I would say in the last 25 years and forward, men are not how they used to be, because before that they would show some form of affection to each other. Like, hey, what's up, dude? And hug on them. And they, it was just a little bit more of a bond that they had back then. Nowadays, it's not like that. Yeah. It's sad to say it's not like that.
What's dangerous with that, even with, studying positive psychology, which I think, oh, there we go. I think this is maybe him. You're hanging up. Call back. Call back.
Yeah, but the question is, Ryan, why do you think we're having a problem? Because there's a huge gap with the black man versus any other ethnic race. Like, why black men? Why the rate is so high?
I think the rate is high because, again, it's a pride thing. It's like, who can be the biggest macho man in the neighborhood? Who can be the biggest guy in his circle? Like, if I tell my homeboy, let's say for instance, my homeboy Wes, hey, yo, Wes, man, look, bro, I don't know what I'm gonna do next with my life. It's more the pride thing. Now, is he gonna have some on me? So, that old Disco really a soft ass cat, man. I thought he was just out.
Why is it amongst black men?
Because that's the role I think. See, back in the days, our older generation, our uncles, our dads, our granddaddies, they was the men. They was the one went out and made it work. So I think it's more of we feel like it's a letdown to how we was raised. So it's like it's beneath us to say to somebody that we got something going. You know what I'm saying? We got something going on.
But if you watch little boys play, like real rough and tough little boys play, and you see somebody cry, boy, you crying, the second they started sort of ragging in, why you crying, why you looking sad, you got to act tough around. Thank you for calling Beyond the Beauty. What's your name?
This is James.
James.
Yes, I just wanted to add something to
the
conversation.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, you got to talk a little louder, dog.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, you got to talk louder.
Okay, I just wanted to add something to the conversation. I just jumped in on the tail end, lady, so forgive me if I'm missing anything.
It's okay, go ahead.
But what I think, my personal opinion is, I think lately, we live in a generation that have placed value on things. They have placed value on things and money and all these other things. So when people don't see necessarily the value of themselves, that's to their own detriment. And like you were just saying, Disco, in the sense of, when you present yourself and you may be going through something with your brother, or you say, hey, this is what I'm going through, or this or that. A lot of the guys, we respond because as a man now, being a man equates to what you can hold.
Is what you've been told?
What you got. What
okay.
you said. What you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if it's like, okay, well, you losing a girl, okay, well, you'll find another girl. If it's a monetary issue, well, he fell off. Everything is really equate to the things that as a possession. And I think the emphasis is being removed from who you are as a person and what you are as a spirit. We all are here having evolving, experiences. Gotcha. So through everything that we experience, we evolve. Hopefully we learn and we grow and we move through it. Right. But when the value is being placed on things and status and people and money and, what's popular, it's very easy to get lost in this society. And I think that is the downfall. I think that is the Zion, the Babylon of this society. So that is the big fall. Like things and people and status, I mean, not people, but things, money, and status mean more than people.
How can men and fathers,
like that is like,
how can men as fathers or even friends, how can they change that narrative if it's not all about things, or you just think just societal, right. It's just all about things. You can't even get past it.
I think what we have to do is show the value of a man outside of his pocket. Show the value of a man.
Give me an example.
Being a good father.
Give me an example.
Being a good father. Showing an example of what you bring to the table. Being a good husband. Being a faithful husband.
Right.
Being an honest man. Being a faithful father. Being an honest brother or somebody that can be depended on in the community. These things build personal value.
They do.
And it's not just the monetary value or the things that we can drive around and be seen as and call successful, because you got a lot of people that are good at acquiring those things, but they don't have the ability to deal with themselves on a more intimate level and grow. So those guys, come out in society and they see I got more and more people, I got more attention. So I'm running through more women. More women think this is what success is, and it's not necessarily success. Like you can have all of the, the attributes of success and not really personally on a personal level be successful because you haven't grown, you haven't expanded, you haven't evolved.
Right.
And I personally believe, I think that is what we're all here for experience, because none of this stuff we get to take with us.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you calling in. I mean, that does bring a lot of value to the conversation because, if we can just sort of, start. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Just sort of bringing that, hey, let's set aside, the value of having things because, social media drives that a lot too, because that's what people flex constantly. Everybody want to be flexing on social media. So, but what you're saying is we just got to just bring more value, and how you do that is by being a good father, husband, brother, counselor, and we do need those. We need, sort of men to sort of be in a position where they have the value and respect, because if you got that, everybody's listening.
Absolutely.
Right.
I really appreciate you calling in, James. Thank you so much, honey.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. I love that.
Yeah. So the thing about with the mental illness is, I think what we need to work on is trying to get men to be more open with their feelings, and that's the task that we have to work on. I'm looking forward to Beyond the Beauty being behind one of these nonprofit business that is supporting mental illness, especially in our community, seeing that that's where the emergency is right now.
Absolutely.
And to be also mindful on our everyday basis when we come across our Black kings, and we need to figure out how we need to treat them, how we need to respond to them, when they are expressing how they feel, just be a little bit more attentive, because you have no idea what battles they're dealing with. And like I said, I see this on social media a lot about men posting about how they want women to be their peace. I see it all the time. Right, to women know. There is a flip side to it, right? Yeah. There's I read between in the lines on things. My mind makes me read between the lines on things.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's because they don't know how to deal with their emotions, right, or dispense their emotion. What? Yeah, to deal with their emotions. Yeah. Mommy, I'm on the live podcast. You're on the air. 678
Text it to her. It'd be easier.
Bobby's old school. She 638
You can just talk on the phone right there.
6626. Yes. All right. Bye. There we go.
That's not her. Is that close?
She was probably answer.
Hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, thank you for calling
Yes.
Beyond the Beauty. Is this Mama?
That's my mother.
Hello, mother of Tanya.
Yes, that's a very interesting topic you are discussing.
Yes. Would you like to add?
Yes, I certainly would.
Okay, I would love to hear what you have to say. Let's hear it, Mama.
Okay. Well, I think first it's we have to remove the stigma from
Absolutely.
mental illness.
Yeah.
And first, we have to let everyone know it's nothing more than just another illness that we have.
Right.
It's like somebody having a flu or a fever, or allergies. It's just another thing that you go to the doctor for.
Right. Right.
There is too much attached to mental illness,
Yeah.
and I did psychiatric training, so I know.
So what are people told when, they say, especially in the Black culture, when they're saying, hey, I'm depressed, or, what are some of the wrong things that are being told to them, which helps further the stigma, in your opinion?
Well, I think for a start, a lot of them don't know that they have that illness
Right.
at all.
You see, that's what I'm talking
They're
about.
not aware of it.
They're not.
Okay.
No.
They're not.
And they're not aware of their behavior is different, but they don't know why.
Okay.
So, Mom, do we go back to how when we're in a relationship with a man, right? And how can we know the signs and signals that he is crying out within? Is it something, do they do something, do they behave a certain way, or they say certain things to us? How, as a Black woman, can identify that in her king, that he is having more than just a bad day?
Okay, a repetition, things that he does over and over. And, the norm is always to be defined between a couple. What is norm in your relationship? What is norm for the behavior of a man in a relationship? And we have to remember that with the Black family, it comes from the separation of the family from way back. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, our Black men suffer as a result of that. The divide and conquer from all back to slavery.
That's right. True.
And even in recent times where there were no help offered to the female if the man is in the home.
Right. Gotcha. Do you think one of the things? Do you think one of the things that are told to Black men or just Black people, period, when they're depressed? Do you think one of the things that's told to them that's wrong is, everything is going to be okay, or just pray about it? Do you think, how does that further the problem?
Sorry. Hold on. I think I missed that.
Oh, go ahead.
What you said just now. Hold on.
Okay.
Mom, turn on. Do you?
Let me turn off mine. Yes, I think that I had mine on, and
Okay.
I just have to turn that off. Yes.
Okay.
Now go.
Okay. So
Say that.
do you think the problem of, that we tell sort of Black people, and, just in our culture, when they're feeling down, like you said, when they're seeing those repetitive signs, or even when someone says, hey, I'm depressed, I don't feel good, hey, man, I'm not into it. Do you think one of the mistakes that we make in telling them is, hey, everything is going to be all right, man, keep your head up, keep smiling, just pray about it. How does that further the problem as far as the stigmatism, as far as depression?
Well, that is just smoothing over. That's just making him feel good.
Yeah.
That is not attacking the real problem.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that is just trying to make that individual at that moment feel good about themselves and be supportive of them. But the real problem is that you have to go back, from the root of the situation.
Yeah.
So, Mom.
Before you can fix it.
So, Mom. So, for a woman who has brought up 4 sons.
Like me.
4 black sons. Which is you, I'm making reference to 4 black sons. What advice would you give women today, black women today, on how to deal with their young men growing up? And what advice would you give us as young black women, myself and my colleagues, of how should we deal with our kings, our black men, if we see them anger outbursts, being distant at times, being always wanting to be alone at times, just doing these little strange things? What advice would you give us in situations?
Tanya, do you realize you've asked me about 6 questions in that one statement?
I'm sorry.
That's your daughter.
Okay, how do I bring up? I bring up 4 boys. I bring up 4 boys, as you know.
Yeah.
I brought up 4 boys and 1 girl, as you know.
Yeah.
And now, the one of the things that I think I'm extremely proud of is being able to be open and with my children and letting them know that they can come to me with whatever it is.
Right.
And as long as they're telling me the truth, then I will deal with the situation. But if they lie to me, I will kill them. And you know that was the rule, right?
Yes.
You know that was the rule. I was very open, and I remember when your brothers were in high school and from prep school, they were bringing home love letters, and I was reading with them because that's how open I was with them. And they were bringing them to me, and I love that because I really left the door open for that. Because I wanted to be the person who advised them rather than their friends. And if I was too closed off, then I couldn't.
Right. So
I was really open, and they brought everything. I mean, love letters. And I still remember to this day some of the highlights and joy that I got from being with them, reading these letters and telling them what the next step should be.
Well, one thing I remember, Mom, with your sons, that you were always very affectionate with them.
Yes, I
do you think that makes a huge difference when they grow up to be men?
Yeah. I remember going on my knees and kneeling down and teaching how they're to feel an emotion. And I remember a time with Ian when I told him that, look, I want you to put your hand as close as it possible can, but do not touch my fingers. And our elbows was on the thing, like what you do when you're doing that fight with you show who is stronger than each other. But you were not touched. And then I said, and I want you to put all the love and emotions that you feel for me in the palm of your hand and put it as close as possible, but do not touch. And when he got that close and he felt the emotion, he go, ooh! And he was shocked.
So you taught them how to feel.
Transfer those emotions to me. And I said, that's what feeling is all about. And then you embrace someone, then you put in their body what you're feeling in your heart.
Energy.
Right? So, and that, I knew boys did not, a lot of them, our young black boys, nobody taught them how to feel and how to show love and affection. So that was very important to me, to do that. So I worked with my boys on that.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mommy, for your advice. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Hey, Mom, I'm looking forward to having lunch soon, okay?
Yes. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
You. Right,
okay, so
good luck, girls.
Okay. So the next thing, the other project, which is also going to be another show, and I think it's probably going to end up being 2 parts, is domestic violence. Woo. That's a huge topic that is dear to me. I've watched other people have gone through it. I have gone through it, and I've watched family members gone through it. It is a huge
Definite
problem.
epidemic. Yeah. Definitely.
Across, it doesn't even, this has nothing to do with color, because even other races are getting it really
absolutely
bad too, as much as us, the black community, because 2020 also, I reached out to another community as well, also is a nonprofit, also is a nonprofit as well, and it's called the it's called the Atlanta Women's Force. It was so it's here in also in Buckhead on Peachtree Road, and they're a huge community. They also have a 24-hour hotline. They do have a shelter for women and children who have experienced domestic violence, and they make it very easy for women who have experienced this and who have to get away from this and have nowhere to go. They have shelters where you can go and get some help. And also they have financial funding for women who are a part of domestic violence and also need a place to stay. So that's very good, which I will talk about that when we do have the podcast and show on that. And you can get information from the numbers that I list to you.
Wonderful.
But domestic violence is a huge, huge problem right across the board. And I think it needs to be talked about more, because people also don't understand that abuse can also be emotionally and mental too. It's not just physical, and it's not healthy. Sometimes, to me, this is just my view, not everybody else's view, but to me, sometimes the mental abuse is worse than the physical.
absolutely
Because it goes with you a lifetime if you don't get help. So it's domestic violence right across the board. Now, I do see too on even social media that a lot of men are also being abused. It's not just women, even though the percentage is higher. But it might be higher because those are the ones that are being reported. But men who are being abused probably not going to report it. But there are men who are being physically abused and emotionally and mentally abused big time, which we will get into details about what that is about when it comes to the men, and how some women mentally, emotionally abused. Because sometimes I don't think women understand what they're doing to their men that is considered abuse. Especially emotionally and mentally. So we'll get into depth about that in one of our podcasts and shows coming up as well.
Okay.
Well,
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I felt that one. Whew. Just the topics where, especially with you bringing in additional help, for people that actually call in, we're more than just talk about it. We're actually going to be about it.
You have resources.
So, definitely love that. So we're getting close to sort of the end. So I'm just going to sort of breeze through real quick. The two topics that are going to be very passionate for me. The first one is definitely going to be upstarted entrepreneurs. I tend to run into them a lot. And one of the biggest things I want to talk about in the show is like people have the hardest problem starting. And a lot of people want to have everything ready. They want the capital, they want the website,
you can start a business without money. Trust me.
They need everything in place, and if they don't have it, they bail. Or the second that they start feeling conflict, they bail. Or the second they have to work harder than everybody else, they bail. And then they want to put in very minimal work and then expect a lot to come out, and then they bail. Or somebody prophesies to them, oh, you're going to do great business, this is going to happen to you. And so they put in just some work, and when they don't get the results they're looking for, they bail. So one of the things that we're definitely going to talk about is for if it's something that you want to do, number one, you're just going to have to do it. You're going to have to start before you're ready. If you don't have money, we're going to barter. And if you don't have a skill, we're going to apprentice. There's always a way to figure things out. If you want to make money in a business, sometimes you have to start with helping somebody else make money in their business.
Right. That is
and
so
that's
true.
how I've done it. And just a quick brief of how even I help other people make money in their business, which helped me. I make myself valuable. You don't have to pay me anything because I know what I'm getting. I want you to depend on me. I want the value of every time you call me, I do exactly what you say, exactly the way you say it. I would see somebody, I'm like, I can bring value to your business. And every business person that I meet is, the first thing I think is, how I can help you make more money? Oh, no, this is what I can do for you. The barter system, I always try to see the value in someone else's business. I'm like, oh, I know I can help you with that. So we're definitely going to talk about different aspects of how we can grow your business now. You have to, just like everything that grows, it starts with the seed. Sometimes, you have to start, maybe just, if you want to be a catering. I was talking to a lady about a catering business. I was like, go to the Taste Fest, set up a tent, start there. You don't need a truck. You can't afford a truck. You don't have experience. You got to go through all the licensing and permits. You're not ready for that. Even if you have the money to do it, if you don't have experience just with maybe doing some Taste Fest or maybe doing some small catering, start small so that you can grow. Be an oak. Don't just try to get things fast.
You see, a lot of people don't want to get out there and do the real dirty work.
It's work.
In order to, but if you don't have that type of money, that's what you're going to have to do.
That's what you're going to have to do. And especially if you don't have if you're not prepared to stay up in the middle of the night, sometimes just stick with what you're doing. Because if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to lose a lot of sleep. You're going to work 7 days a week. You're going to work 7 days a week for 6 months before you even get a break.
Yeah, you don't have no time off.
You have no time off, and you're absolutely responsible for yourself. And the only way to keep your butt in the game is you got to put some skin in. If you ain't got no skin in the game, go home. That's it. If you want a safety net, you just want to be comfortable, you're just not going to win as a, entrepreneur. You have to get to a point where you can't even have a plan B. You gotta win at all costs. Yeah. So, and the second thing that I want to talk about is really what the show is even about is, finding the purpose in your story. One thing I love and I just have a fascination about is, understanding the glory behind pain, suffering, setbacks. Even though it doesn't feel good when you're in it, there's so much good that's in it. And it just sort of help navigate and learn how to be okay and learn how, when those vehicles come, to how to bless it and not to hate the process. Just take it and grow. One of the things that you're going to learn in your purpose is that, whether you have a gift with something, that's not enough to fuel you. It's that pain, it's those setbacks. That's the driving factor behind finding your purpose. Anything that's fleeting, anything that's quick is going to be fleeting. That's not going to last very long. But if you get right into the middle of that pain, open up those most painful doors, you're going to find not just the passion and the gift and the purpose, but you're going to have the energy to see it all the way through. Ooh. That's the thing that sustains. Having courage. Having conviction. The only way to talk with any level of confidence or authority is to be able to speak fluently about that type of pain and having that transparency. So that is exactly. And even as part of what Tanya talked about and what Rachel talked about, every single thing has the ability to sort of drive you, but you have to, get to where that pain is. And that's, you're going to find where the beliefs are, and be able to change all those things. So we're going to, really talk about how the pain and setbacks and catastrophes and loss and failures, how that all contributes to long success. And I tell you, most people don't want to do it. Most people don't want to do it because it's hard. People don't want to do it because it makes them cry. Yeah. People don't want to do it because, they're embarrassed. Takes them out of the comfort zone. And they're embarrassed for other people to know it. I was talking with the lady and I was so transparent with her. It made her uncomfortable. I'm like, good.
Yeah, you see, that is so true. And there is and then it can do two things. it either can let you speak about yours or you just shut down totally and bury it. Yeah, and bury it.
Or it's going to break
you. Exactly.
Yeah, so, you're going to have to, and that's one of the things that we're really determined to do with the show. And that's how I even met these ladies. We didn't know each other before December. You would think we'd known each other our whole life. But the first thing I asked these ladies when I first met them for the first time, I was like, told them what I want to do. I said, what's your story? I don't want to hear about what you're good at. I don't want to hear about what you think. What's your story? And they immediately gave it. Some people wouldn't give it,
Yeah. Like shut you down right. It's like, no, I'm not going to talk about it.
I'm not ready to talk about it. And they'll tell you real quick, I haven't really talked about my story. That's unfortunate because the only way that they can talk about their story is that they have to have a tremendous amount of courage. People for the most part are courageless. Courageless.
That it takes a lot of courage.
It takes a lot of courage to be transparent about the most difficult, the most painful moments of your life. So if you don't want to be, and I'm going to be honest, if you don't want to be a full-blown coward.
Yes.
So if you want to be grown, I'm not talking to 18, 19-year-olds. I'm talking to like full-grown adults. Right. If you don't want to be a coward, open up your mouth and let's talk. Open up so you can heal somebody else. Unless you want to just sort of sit in your corner and just be like, I ain't got coward.
And
come on,
exactly. And people need to understand that they're not living in their truth if they cannot be honest with themselves and others.
This is why you were put here on earth, not for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so if you're not willing to open up, then what I want you to know that you're saying is, I don't want to help anybody else because this hurts on my own. So whatever pain that you experience it on your own. I don't care.
Right.
So understand, I just want this word to sink in. Do not be a coward. It is okay. Everybody's been hurt. Everybody got a cross. Everybody got problems.
Got things that they're embarrassed about.
Right. I don't care if they have the perfect face.
Right.
I don't care if you have the perfect face, the perfect body, the perfect talents. But if you can't talk about it and really get into sort of the purpose of why you was even sent here by exploring that pain, opening up those doors and just getting in.
Because those things happen to you for a reason.
They happen to you for a reason. Let us show you how that pain, those catastrophes and loss
and how you
can propel you.
Absolutely.
In the most glorious way possible. No, is it fun in the moment? No. Is it painful? Yes. Are you going to cry?
Yes.
A lot.
A lot.
It's going to be very painful, but
it will be what in the end?
It's going to bring you freedom.
There we go.
Everything that you was talking about is going to bring you freedom.
That you cannot buy.
You can't buy it. So listen, everybody that's listening, just don't be a coward. Really open up. Don't be afraid to dig in. Don't go too quick. Everything, is a process. I'm not saying that you need to go out and just start confessing your sins.
No, and not to anybody.
And no, we're not talking about that. So listen to the show so that we can show you and help you, call in. We're actually going to be having, Beyond the Beauty brunches where we're actually going to talk about it, maybe even at some point a small group where, people, just want to get together and they just want to learn how to do it. So there's going to be opportunities for everyone, for us to meet with people personally, at conferences, things, and speak, and we're actually going to be having products. We're going to have Beyond the Beauty workbooks where the topics that we're talking about, that Tanya talks about, that Rachel talks about, that I talk about, are going to be in that book. So it's going to give you an opportunity to take those topics home and do the work until you're ready.
That's right.
Until you're ready to talk about it. But know that if you, the real work, if you don't want to be a coward, get ready to do some hard work. Not everybody wants to do it. That's what makes you special, because everybody doesn't want to do it. Only a small percentage of people are true to themselves. So that's what I want to talk about. That's what's,
Let's close it out by talking about Play Bistro and your restaurant and where people can find it.
Absolutely.
And and if they need any information where to go to, to support your business.
Absolutely.
Play Bistro is one of the ones that are sponsoring Beyond the Beauty. So
yes,
tell them a little bit briefly
and all
about
of
it
as well. Absolutely. So I own a restaurant called Play
Mm-hmm.
Bistro and Desserts. It's located on 1812 Powder Springs Road, Southwest in Marietta. Please come out and support. We're Black owned. COVID really hurt restaurants, and so we've been blessed to to do well. But we really appreciate you guys coming out, because what we're doing here, the funding that we're that comes from the restaurant does help, the programs that we're trying to put in place, that Tanya talked about, that, Rachel talked about. So, it does go to sort of a greater cause. Even, soon my Smart Pathways Immigration publishing company is going to be, putting out books to help those that are immigrants or maybe even Americans that want to travel overseas. My curriculum is actually, designed to help immigration consultants, help immigrants or even Americans, with their immigration applications. So, and I'm also a real estate agent. So, hit us up if you're ready to move.
Nice.
Okay. All right, Tanya.
Okay, so one other business too is the Arisha Tea House. Arisha spelled Orisha. And you can also Google it. It's actually an online herbal shop that sells organic herbal teas, herbs, and supplements. And of course, for the holistic wellness community and those who are looking forward to changing their eating habits and taking care more of their bodies, you guarantee can go on my website, which is www.arishateahouse.com. Arisha, again, spelled Orisha, teahouse.com. Phone number is 800-696-5915. And it's not just a website, it's also an educational tool. So when you go on there, you will see what each herb does for any common ailments that you may have. You're welcome to call to ask me for any questions, like say for instance you have diabetes 2, or what can you take naturally, organically, that you can help heal and cure your body naturally. If you have been taking tons of medical based medication, you are welcome to call me too to ask how you can purify your blood to get all that chemicals out of your blood, so you can get back a fresh start and repair all that chemical that has destroyed in your body in healing one section of your body. So it's not just a website, it's also an educational tool to let you know what each herb does. Of course, we have a lot of herbal teas for detox and losing weight as well. And so just check me out on that. I'm also a spiritual director. What that means, I'm also a spiritual reader. I help people, I spiritually advise people. I read them, give them clarity. As I say, getting clarity is freedom. I help them spiritually to find a way to solve some of their challenges of life, and which I use my gift for, to help you, give you some clarity in what direction to go in. And you can call the same number, 800-696-5915, or you can see me on Facebook as well as Instagram. And you can find all that information actually on the website as well. So
absolutely wonderful. So yes, again, currency coach Rachel Roberts. You can definitely hit me up. I'm in on Facebook under Rachel Roberts, Instagram at the Currency Coach, and really and truly, what my company, Traveling Traders 365, it's just that we travel, we trade, we teach. What do we teach? We teach economic development. We teach financial literacy. We teach how to achieve financial freedom. We're teaching all of those things in terms of investing, in terms of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. You know, unless you've been under a rock, Bitcoin is everywhere, Ethereum is everywhere, you know, crypto is everywhere. So I teach individuals not to really be afraid of what's happening. Embrace it. You know, embrace it. Embrace change. Embrace embrace yourself. How to become financially free. It's a difference between being secure and being free. And I feel that, you know, all of us on some level, you know, we want, and we're seeking some sort of freedom, whether it's time freedom, financial freedom, emotional freedom, mental freedom. You know, we're seeking that freedom. And so you can definitely contact myself. Travel, again, website is www.travelingtraders365.life. I'm also on Instagram, Currency Coach. I'm on Facebook as Rachel Roberts, and I will be having a Bitcoin cryptocurrency event, hosting a cryptocurrency event March 31st at 7:30, and that will be at Play Bistro,
which you'll find that on Facebook as well, on the social media Facebook. So if you want to see all the current events that are coming up, just check out Bistro Play on Facebook, and you see all the events that are coming up.
Play Bistro and Dessert. So make sure that you log in. Also talk about the page, make sure everybody goes and
and then of course we have Beyond the Beauty page on Facebook. Just put in Beyond the Beauty, you should see it come up, and please go ahead and follow us, like us, subscribe. And if you have any suggestions to things that you would love to see on our Facebook, please let us know.
Or if you'd like to be a guest,
on our show. And also go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, which is Beyond the Beauty TV. Please go there and subscribe, and you'll see all the upcoming events as well as pre-recorded shows, or shows shows that are recorded. Pre-recorded.
And next week we'll be back at it with our topics. The topics for next week is toxic relationships of all types. It's not just intimately, it could be with parents, toxic relationship with parents and siblings, and then of course your husbands, spouses, common laws,
but all forms of toxic friends as well.
Yeah.
And even toxic relationships with yourself.
Oh.
Oh. Here,
What
preach.
type of toxic habits are you doing right now that you may not even be aware of?
To why you're attracting toxic
Why are
people.
you toxic? Exactly. Where you're attracting toxic individuals into your life.
So if you're still sort of logged on and you're watching the show, if you have a situation that you want to talk about, maybe you want to call in, you want to be a guest on the show, please, inquire on our page, Beyond the Beauty on Facebook, and, let us know, your story, or even if you want us to share your story, on this platform. So we're going to wrap this up.
And thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will see you next Friday at 6:00.
Peace.